Good day, good people. Good day. It is Wednesday. It is a wonderful Wednesday indeed. And it is a great day to wow somebody. And by wow, I mean to wish only well. Welcome to Wow Wish Only Well TV broadcast. I am your host, SherVonne Grose. And you know what we do on Wednesdays. We come to wow. And by wow, I mean to wish only well all across the world. I am so excited, guys. I am so over the top excited about my guest who is here with me today. Yay, yay, yay. She's a very special guest, and I can't wait to bring her on so you guys will be able to meet her and be able to put a face to who I'm always referencing when I say my mentor. That's right, my mentor is in the building, guys. But before I bring her up, I have to do justice, right? I have to actually introduce her so you will know all about who this awesome, mighty woman of God is, this awesome therapist. As she come and share some wisdom with us, and some we're gonna gain a lot of knowledge today as she come forth and bring us. So let me tell you about my mentor. She is none other than Stefanie A.G. Hughes, licensed marriage and family therapist, right? Yes, she is also, guys, she is the owner of the therapy offices of Stefanie Hughes. And she has some bad chicks, including me, under her, right? She has some bad partners. So let me read you this about who my mentor actually is. Stefanie Hughes is a licensed marriage and family therapist with over 20 years experience in the mental health profession. Her specialties include sex therapy and hypnotherapy. She is a well sought speaker in the community and has a special interest in empowering women and couples. Stephanie hosts an annual workshop entitled The Forgiveness Process. She is also the founder of the Mocha Mental Magic movement, which seeks to educate people of faith and people of color on the value of mental health. The movement serves hostess to an annual self care conference. Mrs. Hughes is active in her local community through her church in the areas of singing, wow, community outreach, intercessory prayer, and administration. Stephanie is active in the marketplace, owning her private practice and JBH catering and event planning with her husband, Dennis, of 26 years. Family oriented and faith driven, she seeks to offer grace and a safe place for people to find healing, rest, and then push to their purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's bring up my mentor, Miss Stefanie Hughes. Hi,
Hi. Hey, Sharon, how are you?
Stephanie. I'm great. How are you? It's so
I'm
good to
just
see you
good.
today.
Yes, it's good to see you on this Wow Wednesday.
On this Wild Wednesday.
Hmm
So happy to have you in there. So listen, I'm clearing the floor for you to come in your own way. But the first thing I want to, if you don't mind, because I see the credentials that you have and I know what they mean, but will you share with the viewers what the letters behind your name mean?
Okay, sure. So the LMFT is for licensed marriage and family therapist. The CST is certified sex therapist, and the
Mhm.
CHT is certified hypnotherapist.
Oh my goodness, those are your specialties. How
Mhm,
awesome,
mhm,
is that?
mhm.
Listen, so tell us how is it that because you know what I know what the licensed marriage and family therapist is, and most people because we talk about that because that's my specialty. You and
Mhm.
I actually completed the same program from Mercer University, and it's actually housed in the School of Medicine. So go Bears, right?
Mhm.
And
Go
so
Bears.
we were in that program together.
Mhm.
So tell me about how you ended up getting to become a sex therapist and a hypnotherapist. And I know that we've talked before about your journey to becoming a sex therapist. And so
Mhm.
let's talk a little bit about that.
So for me, sex therapy came because when I started doing more couples work, I was finding that that was a thread that was coming up in all of my in my work with them.
Mhm.
And so I decided that I needed to go back and get a specialty and have a little bit more concentration in sex therapy. So that's how that one came about. And then hypnotherapy, actually, when we were in school, Dr.
Mhm.
Shoemaker,
Oh, wow.
we had a hypnotherapy class.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I really was intrigued by it because I had made the assumption, like many people do, that it was more, just something for commercial use and that
Mhm.
it had no therapeutic value. And so I wanted to learn more about it, that elective. And after taking that class, I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to pursue that after I finish with school. And before I even actually started practicing it and got my certification, I remember when I was preparing for the licensure exam.
Mhm.
Okay. And I had some challenges. I had some challenges. I failed it a couple of times and felt really defeated. And then I remembered that class. And in that class, we learned self hypnosis.
Mhm.
And so I
Mm.
actually used self hypnosis the last time I took my test, and that's the time I passed.
Oh my God, how amazing is that? And I like the fact that you just shared a transparent moment. Like, like you took the test and you weren't successful at it when you first took it, the first and maybe not even the second time. And you
Yeah,
felt a little defeated, but you figured out a way. You figured out a way to make it work for you. And here you are today, several years now. I even remember we were actually working together when you actually got your license in
yeah,
marriage.
yeah.
I remember it was in December, wasn't it? It was in December some years ago.
Yeah, I
Or
think
coming
it
up to
was.
December.
I think it was. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just remember being so excited to finally have, mastered that goal. And so,
Yeah.
um, I think that speaks volumes to a lot of things that people just are going through in general, right? Like we go through things and no one likes to fail, no one likes to feel defeated.
Right.
But especially since the pandemic has happened, there are so many situations that have left people feeling very dismal,
Right.
right? Like hopeless, worthless, and just defeated. And so that experience that I had is just one of the testimonies that I have that says you can do it. You have to keep going and you have to seek resources.
Yeah,
You
for
have to
sure.
seek resources like yourself and me, people that are trained and put in place to provide wise counsel and to help you through difficult situations. Not saying that we can necessarily fix everything, but we definitely can be a safe place for you to process it so that you can see that there is hope and that you can have support till you get there.
I love it. And I think, what you said is so important. And this is how we all got started. I know on Tuesdays, you do your tips to sip on.
Yeah.
And so tell the viewers about your tips to sip on and the purpose behind that.
Okay, so Tips to Sip on Tuesday was created, I think, 7 years ago. And it was quite ambitious of me. I had never done a live, and I'm not technically savvy, so I ran into some challenges, but I've learned and I've grown today. But I created it as an avenue to reach people that may not come to my couch,
Mhm.
okay? Because
Mhm.
we know that although we see that there's a value in therapeutic services and therapeutic resources, and just not everybody's going to come and sit on your couch, not everybody's going to make the call. And so I wanted a way to reach the public, to empower and encourage them and inspire them, to give them practical nuggets and to let them see a therapist live and in person and know that it's not so scary, that we don't talk very clinical all the time, that we aren't
Mhm.
judging, that we aren't diagnosing you the minute you walk through the door, but that we're in this journey together. And so it has proven to be a really great segment. And I share this tiny testimony because if, like down through the years, I have gotten discouraged, even with doing the tips. I'm like, people aren't listening to this. This is crazy. I sound goofy, just a lot of self sabotage, negative self
Yes,
talk.
yes,
And
yes.
but I committed 2 years ago to be committed to it, to not
Oh,
be sporadic, to be consistent, to show up no matter what. And that's what I've done. And so a couple of weeks ago, my dad, he's been watching,
oh,
and he's 76 years old.
yes, yes. Oh, awesome.
He's
Mm-hmm.
a person of color. He's a person of faith. He
Yes.
comes from a very different generation, a generation that is not so open to therapy, right?
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
so he watched a segment I did on "Are You Trapped in Trauma?" And he called me a couple of days after it came on, and he said, "Steffi, I saw the tips. I mean, every week, I swear it's like you're talking directly to me." He was like, "But this one, this trapped in trauma thing, I got that. I got that." And he was like, "I think I might have been trapped in trauma for the last 50 years."
Wow.
And
Wow.
Shervonne, my heart was like, "Oh my God." And he
Wow.
was like, "Can you help me? Can you help me get to a therapist?"
Oh my
I was
God.
no more good. If that was not confirmation from
Definitely for sure.
directly from heaven that
Mm-hmm.
I put you in a place and in a season to do this, and
Mm-hmm.
I have called you to help people. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's not about fame or fortune. It's about how can we help somebody
Mm-hmm.
restore their hope, restore their faith, and get them to the resources that they need so that they can heal. Because so many people period, but specifically people of color and people of
Mm-hmm.
faith, we suffer in silence.
Oh, yes. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And that is a conversation that, we are often brought to the table to have discussions about as we try to figure out how to get more resources
Mm-hmm.
to be available, and how even to get the people, especially people of color, people of faith, to be able to even accept even the resources that are available, even for them to come into a therapist's office to begin to get the services that we need.
Right.
And that was your whole um, thing to us as partners, when you would share that conversation with us. So, I mean, I'm just so excited and honored to have you as my mentor, because I've grown so much. Like, who would thought that
Yes,
I
you.
would even be here today
Mhm.
doing this? And I wouldn't have been had it not been for you, urging me to, be the best version of me, because I preach that all the time. And I actually wasn't being, I was stuck in the cave, so to speak. And you came and pulled me out of that cave. And sometimes I want to run back into the cave. You keep pushing me, right? You keep giving me that word. You pour back into me so that I can do what it is that I need to do to fulfill my purpose that I've been called to do, because we all have a purpose. And so that leads into a great segue into us talking about M3, Mocha Mental Magic. All
Yeah.
right. And I think this is like the opportune time to talk about it. This is Black History Month. This is the
Mhm.
month of love.
Mhm.
And I think that we have to be aware of the fact that we need to love ourselves and love people in general. But I wanted you to talk a little more about the Mocha Mental Magic.
Yeah.
We had that first self-care conference in June of last year, which was an awesome success. And I know that it's coming back up again. But
Mhm.
tell us about M3, the purpose for it, and your vision behind Mocha Mental Magic.
So Mocha Mental Magic is truly it's from God. He gave it to me. Um, and he gave it to me in April, uh, the first year of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So in April of that year, we were completely shut down. That's when everybody was at home, right? We were all shut in.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember just praying a very general prayer and saying, God, let me show me me. That was my prayer. Show me me, and show me what it is that you would have for me to do, not what
Mhm.
I want to do, but what will you have me to do. And
Yes.
so from that, two things were birthed: Mocha Mental Magic, and I wrote a devotional, which will come out hopefully this summer.
Yay.
Um, and so Mocha Mental Magic is a movement. It's a movement that seeks to educate, inspire, and empower people of color and people of faith on the value of mental wellness. And so my vision is to be able to reach these two populations and to educate them on what mental health services look like, the differences in them, the difference between an LMFT versus an LPC, the difference between a psychiatrist and a psychologist. So it has a lot of legs to it. One of the legs is what we talked about earlier, is the self-care conference, but that's not all it is. It's like I said, it's a movement. So yes, it has a self-care conference. There's another piece that rolled out last fall called Brown Sugar Moments, in which you can get your girlfriends, your guy friends, your couple friends, get them together and have a licensed professional or a life coach to come. You can also have the chef to come if you want. So basically, it's an informal dinner party with the topic of your choice, discussing
Mm.
whatever is on you and your group's mind in an intimate setting. Okay. And so, again, the whole effort behind M3 is to educate, to empower, and to inspire people of color and people of faith. And I have people all the time say, so does that mean white people can't come? No, white people are people of color too in their own right.
Hallelujah.
Um, but I am making a distinction for my my people. It's
Mhm.
the only all I know is to be black. I say that sometimes in therapy.
Yeah.
Um, hey,
Right.
guess what? They ask you, tell me something about yourself. Well, I'm black. I've always been black. I can't change that. So
And always will be.
right. That's the culture that I grew up in. And so that's a tapestry of my foundation. And so I just want to help people to
Mhm.
understand that you don't have to suffer in silence. In our cultures, so many times we have been taught to keep our business to ourselves, and if we have challenges, to suck it up and keep going.
Right.
As a result, we're a very resilient people, but oftentimes we suffer in silence. We're strong, right? We persevere,
Mhm.
but inside, we have all these challenges, past traumas, past disappointments, past regrets, and they are infiltrated in our heart, and we don't do anything about it. So as a result, we're bitter, we're resentful, we're not successful. We um we don't stay consistent in what it is we're trying to accomplish, and
Mm.
we pass that down to another generation and another generation and another generation. And as a result, you know we're not healing, we're not living up to our best standard that God gave us. That's not our portion. Our portion is to have what God has for us to have. Our portion is to live out our purpose. Our portion is to finish our assignment. And
Say that.
so that's what M3 was created to do, to help people to do that.
Awesome, 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 awesome. I like the fact that so my girlfriends and I can get together in whatever setting,
Mhm.
and we can invite a therapist in, like you, one of your partners to come in and provide, just be there to guide that conversation, and
That's
that and out of that conversation, you're educating and inspiring, but also somebody may find that they too, just like you say, your dad discovered, like, hey, I may have been stuck in trauma, for the last 30, 40, 50 years,
right.
and someone may discover that, hey, I may actually can benefit from actually seeing a therapist. And it's almost like they will get also, like, to kind of try what it's
Mhm.
like to be in the presence of a therapist, because it can be scary. I
Mhm.
know, having to have conversations with a person that you've never met before. And sometimes we have to dive deep. We have to get into some things that are really personal personable that, may make the person feel, some type of way. But when you connect with the right therapist, which is important, when you
Yeah.
connect with the right therapist, that seems to subside. It eases as the process goes along. So awesome.
Mhm.
So, in speaking about the Mocha Mental Magic,
Uh-huh.
we had that first self-care conference, as
Yes.
I referenced already, and it's coming up again. So, do
Yeah.
you want to take a moment to just tell the viewers about that?
Yes. So the self care conference is now an annual event, and it is scheduled for this summer, June 24th, 25th, and 26th.
Mhm,
It will be in Peachtree City, Georgia this year.
mhm,
And registration is now open. You can go to www.mochamentalmagic.com and register. You can also find on that website a free ebook that I wrote that gives you detailed steps for how to find a therapist, and all those alphabets that you see behind people's names. It
mhm.
defines all those alphabets, and then it gives you step-by-step instructions for how to find a therapist that's a fit for you, because all therapists are not created equal.
That's true.
Hmm.
I always say all the time that I may not be your cup of tea.
Right.
Meaning I may not be the therapist for you, but I'm connected to some great therapists. So I'm sure that we can find someone that would be a good fit for you. The whole key is to make sure you get what you need so that you can get on track to do to live a healthier, a wholesome life, right? There's nothing like. And speaking of that, you have an annual conference, Stephanie, your forgiveness, I'm sorry, an annual workshop, your forgiveness workshop.
Mhm.
Um, so tell us, how does this workshop empowers people? Because I know what the word forgiveness will do for people. So tell the people about the healing that comes from forgiveness.
Okay, so there's a testimony behind that too.
Okay.
That signature workshop was created with me. I used to climb Stone Mountain on a regular basis.
Okay.
And this particular day, I did not make it to the top. I heard God clearly say, "You're not going to the top today. I need you to go sit right here." And so I went and sat on this rock, and I could see out, to the city. And I remember God saying, I remembered it from a dream. I had had a dream of being in that same space. And I'm like, oh my goodness, deja vu, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, okay, what what do I need to do? Or what are you trying to tell me, God? And God was like, he said, okay, so now let me help the dream make sense. He was like, here are all these people. What you see before you, these are all people. These. And he said, I said, yeah, you sent me to help people. I got it. And he was like, yeah. But and so I said, but why are some of the people, they don't heal, God? I don't understand that. Like, some people I try and I try and I try with, and it's not happening. And I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Do I need to go back to school? What do I need to do? And he said, the reason that these people won't heal is because they won't forgive.
Wow.
I need you to teach them how to forgive.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kept that in mind. I ran on back down the mountain. I keep a paper and pencil in my car. And
Mm-hmm.
so I started writing whatever God was giving me. And
Mm-hmm.
the forgiveness process was then developed. That workshop was developed. And yes, so then I started thinking about my individual and couples and families therapy sessions. And then, I was looking at it from a different lens.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that is the root of a lot of stuff, a
Yeah.
lot of conflict, a lot of discord
Mm-hmm. For
is
sure.
connected to
Mm-hmm.
unforgiveness. And so it's a 6-part series where I teach people how to forgive.
Mm.
And I'm actually in the process, I haven't said this out loud before, but I'm in the process of creating a webinar for the series so
Yes.
that I can offer it live, but also you could just buy the package and look at it whenever you desire.
Of course.
It's a 6-part series and it takes you through a whole process. It's a very interactive experience, it's a very personal experience. And a lot of the feedback that I have gotten is, wow, I never knew that there was a process to forgiveness. I
Right.
thought that it was this instantaneous thing.
Oh, no,
And
right.
that's where people get stuck. They're like,
Mhm.
they get fixated on, I how can I forgive when so and so did this or
Mhm.
this situation happened? But it's a process. And so I take you through those steps and help you to start that journey. It doesn't stop with my workshop. Like by the time you finish the workshop, you're not, like, oh yes, I'm healed, I can forgive
Yeah.
everybody.
Right.
You have a better framework
Right.
so that you can operate in a place of forgiveness and not in a place of resentment and bitterness and regret.
Say that. I love it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Because we know unforgiveness keeps a lot of people stuck. It keeps you from
Yeah.
growing, right? And it really has an impact on you not being able to move forward and feel it and really embrace all that life has for you because you stuck, in this, and you may not even realize it. So that's why it's good for you to, to have an understanding of what forgiveness is and to understand that it is a process because many people don't understand that it is a process.
Mhm.
So, and that leads me to because, and I know we have a few minutes here, time goes so fast when you're
Yeah.
having fun and you're getting information, but I
Mhm.
wanted us to dive into a little bit about relationships. And I had hoped we'll probably have to bring you, we definitely will have to get you
Yeah,
back
yeah,
on.
yeah.
I know that we need to have, and I know that this is a Christian show, broadcast, right?
Mhm.
But I think that there needs to be some conversations, more conversations about sex and sex therapy because that is just it's a word, this topic that's taboo. I know, but some people even need to heal from that and even be able to get an understanding of what sex really is and how it should be beneficial for both partners. The male, when I talk of partners, I'm speaking specifically of male and female together. And so we've had a lot of great conversation about it, and it's a great conversation piece. And I
Mhm.
would like to bring it even from a faith-based perspective about what that is and what that looked like. Okay, so let's dive into conversations about relationship. So
Okay.
can you tell me what do you believe are the major cornerstones of a relationship?
I would say definitely trust,
For
uh, vul-
sure.
vulnerability,
Mhm.
um, and a foundational relationship with God.
Oh, definitely.
Mhm.
Exactly. Right. And I love that you say that because here is the thing, and you didn't necessarily mention love because that's actually a given, but I was having a conversation with some people just the other day, and we were talking about, relationships. And what I mentioned to them is, as I said, we're all under the perception that love is the only ingredient that we need in a relationship. Like we can survive off of love in a relationship. Hear me clearly. Love is very important. It is a primary ingredient, but it's not the only cornerstone that will be able to uphold a relationship, right? Because
Mhm.
sometimes you have to love people from a distance, even in a relationship that's not a marital
Right,
relationship, right?
right,
So
right.
just because I love somebody doesn't mean that I have to actually, yes, deal with them
Deal with
or
them. Yeah,
right, be connected to them. And
yeah.
so I think that's important that you pointed that out. And I would love to be able to have a conversation, where we talk about what's a healthy relationship and what's an unhealthy relationship, because people are oftentimes confused. They get into these relationships. I know you've seen it before. I see married couples who will come before me and they've been married for a long time, and one of the partners may realize that this has been unhealthy from the get-go.
It's true.
So sometimes, they people don't realize that they're in relationships that are not cultivating, they're not healthy, they're not, promoting one each other. And it's not a partnership. People actually often forget that when they are actually in a partnership.
I
In a
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So yeah, so anyway, we have about 20, we have a few minutes, like less than a minute left. So I
Oh,
can't believe that. So give us your final thoughts to the viewers and share any upcoming events,
Mhm.
and how the audience can connect and follow you.
So the audience can connect and follow me by simply going to my website, which is my name, StefanieHughes.com. I have several things coming up. So check out my Facebook page, my social media to see all those things. And my last words would simply be this in the honor of Black History Month, that
Yes.
it's okay to not be okay.
Yes, I love it. And since you said that, because we've had, you know what, we just got to get back together, because we've got to have conversation, and we got to be able to discuss, because we're losing people. We're in, it's a conversation. If catch my WOW radio show, and that's
Mhm.
the conversation that I'm talking about, in terms of, you know, we're losing people to suicide. And
Yes.
that doesn't have to be the end. That does not have to be the outcome. So, to anyone who may be feeling hopeless or may be feeling helpless, we have the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline that is running across the screen.
Mhm.
So please reach out to them if you don't have a therapist or someone that you're connected
Call
to.
us.
Yes, call us, definitely, for sure. Call the therapy offices of Stefanie Hughes. Stephanie, I always forget our office number. So
It's
can you please put
It's
our
678-884-6844.
yes, you
Mm-hmm.
can connect. And also, Stephanie has given out her website, which is StephanieHughes.com. And you will be able to see all of the partners there. You can access our bio to read about us, and you can schedule an appointments, guys. Listen, we are here to help. This is what this is all about.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it is so great that you guys have joined us today. I am so excited to have my mentor,
Right.
right? My business partner. Also, many people don't know
Mhm.
that you and I are also business partners.
Yep. Yep.
Stefanie Hughes, licensed marriage and family, certified sex therapist, certified hypnotherapist in the building. It has been such a pleasure. Again, we thank you for coming and helping us wow. And
Yeah.
by wow, I mean to wish only well all across the world. So until next time, guys, we will see you on next week. And please don't forget um log on to hear me tune in tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to catch Wow Wish Only Well late radio broadcast. All right, so we will be hearing from Stephanie again soon in the near future. And until next time, wow, it's a good day to wow somebody. So, and by wow, I mean to wish only well. Talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye.